As kids are getting ready to go back to school and their back to school routines, it's the perfect time for parents to brush up on their P's and Q's. And here to help us with that is nationally recognized etiquette expert and author of Elaine Swann's book of modern etiquette is Elaine Swann herself. Thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
And congratulations on this new book.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled about it.
It is really important. We could all use help in this area.
We certainly can.
Of our etiquette and going back to school for kids. Kids, you know, they're going to do their thing. And parents, we need a, they need a little bit of reminders.
Parents need some brushing up too.
And the first week is a great time to establish those new habits. Why is that?
I think it's important to establish new habits during the first week because this sets the tone for the entire school year. If you ruffle the feathers of the teacher the first week, or if you kind of get into a kerfluffle with another parent in the line, that can really set the tone for what the rest of your school year is going to be like. And so this is the time where we really have to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward.
Yes. Well, you mentioned the drop-off line, and for anyone that's ever done it before, it can be a headache, it can be a scene.
It can.
So how do you
drop-off
navigate?
line can be challenging, especially when you have multiple students in different age groups. And so maybe you need to get back, you need to get out of the line into another school. And that's the thing we have to think about as far as parents are concerned. So with that drop-off line, it's important for us to be considerate of other parents. Have everybody ready, their things together. Whoever's first, put them closest to the door. Whoever's next, you put them further away and get your student out. We love taking pictures of our little ones, but this is not the time to do so, not in the drop-off line. The drop-off line is exactly for that. So be prepared and be ready to shuttle your little one out that door.
Okay. There's no time to load the backpack once you've parked.
No.
That needs to be done.
Load that backpack before you leave the house.
Okay.
And it's so important to line up your students based upon the way they're going to exit the vehicle.
I have never thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So if maybe you're not dropping your kid off at school, maybe they're taking the bus. How do you navigate the bus stop?
Right. So for the bus stop, this is where parents love to take that last photo as far as that's concerned. And so be mindful of the other students who are around because we just don't know what's happening in people's lives, whether children are under protective custody or what have you. So make sure you're not taking photos of other people's kids. As far as that bus is concerned, walk your student up to the bus to a respectable spot. Do not, stick your head in the door and start giving instructions and waving and taking pictures and so forth like that. But allow space for the other students because this could be a little bit anxious moment for some of the other students. And so when you're in the way, it just doesn't make it good for them. So get that student onto the bus, step off, and allow the other ones to go forward as well.
Okay. So now that the kids are at school, now they're learning. Maybe they come home and they say something, and you want to talk to the parent, the teacher. Excuse me. The parent wants to talk to the teacher. But we got to be respectful of those teachers because they're humans too. They have a life. They grocery shop. They have families.
They do. They're human beings, right? You see the teacher out in the wild and you go, "You're a person." Yes, teachers are a person as well.
Yes.
And so this is where I think it's important for parents to remember to not inundate the teachers with so many emails, 10 questions over and over. My recommendation is this: whatever questions you have, jot them down first before you start banging off an email. Jot them down and then go back and look at them again because you may have gotten the answer at some point in time. Some things are not necessarily pertinent at the moment, but anything that is important, then this is where you can follow up and send it. But give the teachers some breathing room. Give them a moment to get to know who you are, who your student is, who matches who, and allow them to get settled into the class unless there's an emergency. So jot your questions down first and then send them later.
Well, and there's all those packets, right? The packets that come home the first week of school or online or whatever it is, the portal. And so it's like maybe run through those first before check off your list.
Yes, because if you jot the questions down and you go through the package, you just might find your answer in that packet. And guess what? Now you don't have a 10-question list. Try to narrow it down to maybe 3 questions so that this way the teacher can really have a moment to spend with you.
I love that. All right, finally, parents get really excited to share photos of their kids online, the first day of school pictures, you see like the little signs, but there are things that we should be careful of when sharing online.
There are things that we should be careful of. Try not to share information that's going to be telltale. So if you're standing in front of your house, make sure you position your student a little further away from the address. We don't want to see that. The other thing is, and I mentioned this before, is to be mindful of having other students in the photo that do not belong to you and you don't have permission to post. And before you start posting these photos, I really want parents to think about the future of the student. How much am I sharing about my child? Is this something that they're going to be okay with later on in life? Even though they are our child, they are an individual. And so we want to make sure that we're not oversharing. And keep in mind that not every person has the same opportunity as you. So showing off the brand new fancy shoes or the whatever gadgets it is and so forth, just be mindful of not humble bragging online. Be mindful of that. Not everyone has the same opportunity.
Well, and that doesn't mean you can't take the photo and put it in a photo album.
Yes.
Put it on the fridge.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to that?
Yes. So it doesn't, not everything belongs on social media.
Absolutely. Well, these are all wonderful tips, Elaine. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys want to learn more, you can pre-order Elaine Swann's book of modern etiquette right now, wherever you get your books. Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure.
All right, we got lots more to come here on The Hub today. Don't go anywhere.